Danny Ross has returned to destroy Joe Cumia and expose a bunch of more people. So, all this happened in the Scorch Reddit because, those dummies at the Opie and Anthony XYZ one, which I'm got the invite to. They made theirs privates and like two people can go there. So, all the interesting stuff now happens at r/Scorch. So this guy says, you and your brother started hanging out with Kurt Love after his conviction, not before. Now, of course, as you know, Joe Cumia is obsessed with Reddit like his brother's obsessed with Twitter. So, of course, he's on there answering questions. So, Joe Cumia puts, never hung out with them. If I said hello, that was a lot. All of your stories are the biased narrative you choose to believe. You have no evidence of any involvement at all with the pedo. He was a very peripheral guest at a couple of parties. He came over at Ant's house as a good friend of Danny Ross. When I found out about his, pedophilia, he was escorted off the property and told not to return. We never saw him again after that. It was his third time at a very crowded compound party. I know you don't want to believe the truth, but there it is. So Joe Cumia is saying, all right, this guy who was convicted was at some parties, but Danny Ross brought him. So you try throwing Ross under the bus. Well, here comes Danny Ross. Joe, it's sad how far you'll go to protect your brother, a good friend of Danny Ross. Let me remind you that the reason I stopped hanging out with your pedo brother is because he was chilling with Kurt one day, who had brought Bobo's underage sister, who was 16 at the time, and her underage friend. After I witnessed Kurt inappropriately touching both minors, I left and slowly stopped having contact with Anthony. I remember a text from your pissy-eyed brother crying, asking why I don't come chill anymore. I told him what I thought of company like Kurt, and he lost what little was left of his mind. Don't bring my name into the mix when I had nothing to do with Kurt Love whatsoever. It was your brother, and your brother alone, who agreed to host a convicted pedo in his home on multiple occasions while bringing over underage girls. Jesus! It's a real scumbag move to imply I was the dude's friend at all. I'm not surprised, though. I mean, Joe, you're a fucking scumbag, and your brother's a pedophile. Are you too obtuse to realize Uncle Paul is based on Anthony? Did you not connect the dots to realize Chip is based on Opie? The pedophile and the not funny idiot who he thinks he is. Who do those two remind me of? Also, since you decided to bring my name into this, let's not forget that you got a paycheck from your little brother to the tune of $60,000 a year. Now let's also remind folks that Keith's wife, if you think, if you can call that a marriage, got paid $52,000 for cleaning up period blood and taking out the trash. That's what he thinks about your contribution to his success. Your worth is $8 more grand than a personal laundry service / maid supervisor. If it weren't for that little stipend, you'd be renting some shack and mastic with a roommate. Probably banging the same caliber of women, though. And while we're already on it, if Ange wasn't picking up cum towels and grocery shopping, she'd be spraying perfume in a liquidating Macy's. Keith would still be cheating on her, though. So she's got that going for her. Anyways, I'm sure you're busy looking up the word liquidating, so I'll let you go. Just don't forget, an enemy of my enemy is my friend. How many friends do I have because you are their enemy? We're not talking on the internet. 20 years of friends I've made. My God, sir. By the way, after Danny, my David Royce, dropped this, Joe Cumia never responded after this. And then people are talking about it. Then Danny replies, You guys need to upvote him so he has enough karma to respond. And like they were telling Danny, he never did respond after this though. There's no chase. It's more about not letting social media decide when I participate. I'll choose when to participate in social media. So they're asking Danny why out of nowhere he can decide to come and smash him. He keeps going after this though. Danny does. This guy puts, Danny, the original post about this hit it on the old sub. But did you know if it's true that Anthony has given Bobo's mom and sister hush money gifts because of this? Danny puts, all I remember is that Bobo's sister got a brand new iPad and nobody knew where it came from. Bobo, his mom, it was inexplicable. Who could have possibly bought Bobo's sister a brand new iPad? Rent a swag for 14-year-old girls. So Anthony physically assaulted a handicapped boy and tried to fit sister. Nice guy. Danny puts, hey man, I don't know. All I'm saying is that a convicted pedo escorted two underage girls to his house. Who am I to judge? I guess I'm the asshole. And then this guy puts, then Danny puts, he's a saint. You never hear about creepy uncles touching their nieces. Oh, Jesus. This guy says, thank you for your service. Yeah, so Danny Ross, Joe Cumia was up on there running his mouth, tried blaming Danny Ross for the whole Kurt Love situation. If you don't know the Kurt Love situation, I'll let someone in the comments explain it to you. But they pretty much went through the whole thing there. But tried saying it was Danny Ross who brought him. Then Danny Ross swooped out of obscurity and put Joe Cumia in his place, and this is how you know Danny was telling the truth in this thing. Joe Cumia never responded, so Danny exposed him. By the way, Danny Ross, we're gonna have another video of him exposing some other people. I believe one Jim Norton coming up, but like I said, this is happening in r/Scorch. So that's what happens when you don't make your new O&A subreddit private. You can have interesting stuff like this happening in it. So this is Danny Ross exposing them. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and donate.